Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Lovely to be here for an extra broadcast today. And I am on for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to share a spread with you, one that you're probably all very familiar with, but I wanted to take some time to show you how I work with this very old, tried and true spread and explain some of its many layers. And this is a teaser. This is a teaser for an upcoming series and mini course with me over the summer, really a tarot masterclass on managing larger spreads, how to make them your own and choose certain layers that make sense to you and work with you, not to be overwhelmed with spreads that are larger than 3 cards. And so over the summer, I'll be doing spreads such as the Rose spread, a Tree of Life spread. I'll be diving a lot deeper into the Tetractys spread, among others. And if you're interested in following along this summer, the links for the course are down below. And I'm just going to open one other window and we will get it going here. So I have been teaching tarot for a long time. My name is Sadhana, if you're just popping in and wondering who this face is. And this has been quite an evolution for me as a tarot reader. I began quite organically out of a need for a self-help tool to navigate my life. And over the years, studied and learned from lots of quite amazing teachers who all read the tarot in very different ways. And because I am a teacher by training, because I am a student at heart. I absolutely love to study that. My own study of the tarot has been really quite intense, full of lots of rabbit holes. And it's really just my pleasure to share all of this with you. So a warm welcome to everyone. The Celtic Cross spread is a 10-card spread. And a 10-card spread, any 10-card spread, is one that gives you the opportunity to work with the numbers 1 through 10. And that would be the same in any spread based on the number of cards that are in the spread. So if you have a 5-card spread, then you can focus on the numbers 1 through 5 based on either the designated positions of the cards or the order in which you place the cards on the table. There's a few things I want to say here, and that is there is no right way to do this. And often when we are beginning and we're doing a first reading for a friend or a first client, we fear making mistakes. And I believe that when we place the cards on the table, that is exactly where they need to go. And you may feel like your hand has put them in the wrong place, but believe me, there's a reason why the card landed exactly where it did. And so what I offer you today is, I'll go a little bit through my process with this, and I'm going to just sort of move the cards around on the table before I actually demonstrate a reading. And I want to say good afternoon and welcome to Arya and Dee. And this, and I think Arya's comment about being disenchanted with it, because there is there's possibility of a lot more to it than just a tried and true fixed position meaning of this. Okay, so let's have a look at the cards. And I want to talk a little bit. So right now I'm just talking about the layout of the spread and some different possibilities and how to move the cards around to make more sense of them. So we have in this spread 6 cards that are in the wheel position, which is, if we look at a traditional Celtic cross with the circle at the top, this is the staff, the stave. And if we were to make this into a traditional looking Celtic cross, this staff of cards really would go down below, and we would have 4 cards standing below these 6 cards on the top. But because tables aren't designed that way, the staff has been moved over to the right side of the table, I'm assuming. And when I'm looking at these cards, I want you to think about this. What is a staff? What is this? What does this represent? A circle on a stick. Is this reminiscent of any astrological symbol? Does it look like a rune? Does it look like some other symbol that you are aware of? Because maybe that will help to bring in a special meaning for you. I have actually read the spread with the staff underneath this line of cards here. So we actually have 7 cards that are in a straight line with these two cards on either side. And as a tarot reader or an aspiring tarot reader, I want you to get playful with the tarot. I want you to ask questions and go, well, why? Why is it supposed to go there? That doesn't make any sense to me. I would put it here. And I think as long as you know why you're putting the cards where you're putting them, then let it make sense for you and read it that way. And then what I said earlier is equally important. If you want to lay it on a different side, then lay it on a different side. Or if by accident you lay it in a different position, then lay it in a different position. But traditionally, this spread has 6 cards that are set up as the wheel and 4 cards that are the staff. Generally speaking, these 4 cards are read towards the end of the reading, and these 6 cards are read earlier in the reading. Regardless of how you lay it out, you have a 1, 2, 3 to a 10. Usually this would be considered the 10th card, and this would be the first card. So as a tarot reader, what do you know about 1s and 10s? And let those 2 cards speak to each other, because a 10 is a 1 and a 1 is a 10, and they have the possibility of having a good look at one another and commenting on that. So that's something really interesting. We also have a possibility of a line of 4 in this reading. Now, depending on your table and how you lay out the cards, it is entirely possible that the 8th card becomes part of a story of a line of 4 cards. And I'm sorry, my camera can't go further back, and so you see all 10 cards clearly. So this is a possibility here. Okay, so that. Now, you also may have learned or want to lay out the cards. So the 7, 8, 9th card creates this line of 4. And so whenever we have lines in a tarot spread, these lines can tell a story. Oh, I like that, Aria. Kind of looks like a schematic hermit. And then when you do that, this card here that is over, above, has something to say to the 10th card. When these 4 cards get moved up, then the wheel stands alone. 10, the wheel. The 10th card stands alone. It's separate from it. It's not in a line other than the top of the staff. Maybe this is an ornament, a decorative head of the staff. Maybe it's a beacon, it's a light. Maybe this is the lantern. Maybe this is what we need to light. And so there are so many ways we can experience and look into the layers of this spread. If you look this up in a book, you'll read things like, this is recent past, this is recent future, as above, so below. But what does that mean? What does that mean? And how are we meant to interpret that? So I'm going to do a reading here today, and I will do my best to incorporate many of these layers for you. And then, of course, and I haven't even introduced the idea of a significator, which is something that I may or may not get to today. So I'm doing this without a significator on the table, because that adds a whole other layer to this reading. And actually, you know what? I'm missing a card here. I'm missing a card. So there is 6 cards in the center, and you're looking at 5. Sorry, there is a 6th card in the middle. There is a possibility for 11th card in the reading, and that would be a significator or even a topic card, and that perhaps I can come back to that once I get through how I would interpret a reading like this. So when I lay the cards on the table, I put the first card in the center. This is the 1. And there is the second card is laid across it. This is visually something that could be covering. It is crossing. It is perpendicular to. It is at odds with. There's something also here kind of interesting in that I also have another spread where I place a card in this position between 2 cards. It's almost like this is a bridge between this card and this card. These first 2 cards have a conversation with one another. They are 1 and 2. What do we know about 2? We know that 2 separates. We know that 2 is about looking at ourselves separately in relationship. We know that 2 is connected to the high priestess, the 2 pillars of the high priestess. We know that 2 is still very, I wasn't going to mention Tree of Life, but the 1, 2, 3 cards are very high on the Tree of Life. They're part of the supernal triangle through that paradigm. We can work with the number 3 card as the Empress number, and I'll show you where I go with number 3 in a moment. Each of these cards could be associated with the major arcana. So the first card we could look at, well, what is the Magician saying here? And depending on how you view the Magician, and whether it's mercurial energy or it's a sort of a new sense of agency, that might help you to find a voice for that first card. What is the conversation between the High Priestess and the Magician as this first and second card? Okay. All right. So in that way, each of these cards has a conversation. The first card on the bottom of the staff is the 7th card. And the 7th card is that, I'll use the word agency again, of the Chariot. That bit of courage, but also the number 7, the magical qualities of the number 7, having absorbed and accumulated all of the numbers of the 6 before. This card has taken into the experience all of these cards here. And so here we step forward and we head out down this road, down this path. This path that perhaps was supporting us all along. It is the staff. It is the staff upon which we stand. Maybe it is the path that we are getting back onto because we've been distracted. making excuses for being busy. And here we go again, down this road, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Through the gateway, holding the light. That it's this sort of reflection gives you so much more vocabulary to work with in a spread like this. And Dee, I haven't seen Tom's new Celtic Cross, so I'm not sure what his take on this is. So what I'm sharing with you today is my personal journey with this spread, and yeah, it's been really quite extraordinary. Ooh, I like that. Climbing the tower. Climbing the tower. Why do we climb the mountain? Why do we climb the tower? What is it that happens at the top that is so amazing? And there's something about the view from the top. And we don't often have that view with our three-dimensional eyes because, of course, we are down low and we're in the midst of all of our own stuff that's going on. And that eagle eye view, or the view of the witness, it's not easy to get up there. And so depending on your reason for doing a reading, your question can build in your choice of metaphor. Now, the order of the cards in the center. I have never varied the cards 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. That has never changed for me. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do it differently. The order of the cards, it's funny when I see that word terror, I think that sometimes people fear turning over this 10th card because they think of it as an outcome card. This is my fate. This is what is going to happen, rather than this perhaps is a door that I'm ready to walk through, or something that needs my attention. Number 10, this is something that I need to spend some time bringing to closure. Okay. When I first started reading this spread, or using this spread, I really liked the idea of as above, so below. And I would lay the cards after the 1 and 2, I would go above and below, and then left and then right. And I started thinking about this sort of as crossing my heart. I'm not a Catholic, but there was something about this that just felt sort of energetic and spiritual, and that's what I did for years. And I've seen other people do that as well too. And I think there's something to that. And if your hands flow in that way, let your hands flow in that way. And if you do that, then this becomes the 3rd card, and this is the 4th card. And we have, therefore, a relationship between the Empress and the Emperor, the number 3 and the number 4. This is really cool because if you know anything about Euclidean geometry and the number 7, 3 over 4 is the way often that you see that diagrammatically arranged. And then we have 5 and 6. And so we would go 5, 6, 7. I have a very open interpretation of time because of my own experience with time, and call them time warps, time pathways, just different experiences. And I honestly believe that we are, it's important not to be too attached to time. And I have never, not for years, read a spread past, present, future. to me, that is so limiting because there's there's much richer vocabulary to describe past, present, future. And we can use words such as what has informed me, or what I carry in my DNA, or there's just other ways to use those words. I think in a very simplistic way, what I learned was that if this card feels like it's 3 months ago, then this card is 3 months ahead. That there is definitely there's something going on here, a relationship between these two cards. So that's how I began with the Celtic Cross, was laying the cards in that way. And I did, I've read lots of tarot books and seen this center bit arranged in so many ways, pretty much every direction. But where I am now is I place my third card here, and fourth card, fifth card, sixth card. That is, the sixth card is nice and close to the seventh card, and this creates a clockwise wheel. So in a way, these cards here are in themselves a mini wheel. And I like that the cards are placed that way because I like the flow of the wheel, and flow is a very important part of energy work. And it's like they each flow into the other. So of course, there will be some sort of relationship between this card and this card. But that also means that this energy flows into this energy, which flows into this energy. And this is, this tells a story unto itself. And I often suggest to tarot students that don't turn over the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th cards. Work with this opening sequence of 6 cards and really have a good conversation with it. And maybe do that today. And then tomorrow, turn over the 7, 8, 9, and 10. We don't need to look at the whole spread at the same time. That truly can be overwhelming. Now, I would not suggest spending too much time interpreting the cards one by one. That can get very disconnected. And I will mention more about building in some other energies and more traditional position meanings as I go through. But I'm definitely not one for disconnected readings. Okay. So, all right. So let us do a reading. And if there is anyone in the chat that has a reflection or a question they would like to share, I would be happy to use that as the focus for this lesson. And if not, I have another one prepared for a real person. So, all right. Now I'm going to use Tarot of Echoes for the reading. And based on the inquiry, I may or may not do a first operation. And that is a practice to help build in even more layers. And I've spent a lot of time working with the first part of the first operation and really being in awe of it. And especially if you're working with Golden Dawn decks and Golden Dawn associations, it's a really powerful, powerful practice. Okay. All right. So this is a reading for M. M. No relation to James Bond. And the question has to do with my or her tendency to run away, her tendency to leave. And there is a discontent. I'm not sure if that's a word that she has ever used. You know, those people that feel like they just don't belong with their family, like they were a walk-in, or maybe they were adopted at birth and the wrong baby was given or something. Like there's over the years, she has expressed just so much disconnection. So this reading is about her current adventure, and it is about what is the purpose of this particular adventure, and is it going to bring any sort of clarity about what it is I'm doing here? Yeah, the changeling. And it is with love and the highest light that I offer you this support, and I hope that you're watching today. And if not, I will send her the link and she can watch the replay. And as always, I ask that this reading be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. Okay. I don't feel like her question, maybe I will go and use the wands pile of the first operation, because I'm thinking about life purpose and how I connect with that. Wow. This is an incredible cut. Very few cards. Like, oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like only 15 cards came off the top. If you know this procedure, that means there will be very few cards in the swords and the pentacles pile. And that in itself says a lot. It means the bulk of the cards, and again, a real very small cut going into the cups pile, which means the majority of the cards are in the first pile, the fire pile. I'm going to say more than half of the cards in the deck. I love this procedure. I feel like if you trust your cutting of the cards, if you trust the way your hands move when you touch the cards, we can learn so much from the way that the cards cut. If I were to choose a significator for this person, I would choose a page, and it would be somewhere between a page of cups and a page of wands, and I don't know, some sort of combination of all of the pages. I always look at the card on the bottom, and is this the queen? No, it's the ace. It's the Ace of Pentacles. I've used this deck quite a few times for readings. It's reading really well. I don't know all the cards super well, so I may pause and look at the cards. What is in her hand? There's a key. And this card on the bottom of the pile is a long ways away from the top. So I wonder if her answer is that this particular journey that she's on will require some endurance, that the gift, the key, may not reveal itself for some time, because we're going to use the top 10 cards. This key is some ways down into the pile. Okay, does that make sense to you? Okay. Okay. Two of Swords. This is such a fitting card. Almost as if the soul of this spirit is as divided. The mind of this soul is, everything about this person is divided. They, this card suits this person so much. And you may know this card from other decks. And so here's another question for you. I have the second card in my hand. How much do I work with the art of a particular deck? And how much do I allow other images to come to mind or other associations? So, for example, Anatorian, I've never heard her talk about the Golden Dawn zodiacal correspondences. It is my understanding that her decks are created in very in an organic way, that cards are painted as she feels guided to paint them. And yet, in working with her decks, I feel that these layers are just there. They exist in this etheric body that is all around us. And so sometimes I do. I lean into astrology. I lean into other paintings and pictures. But I think this is really clever. And what is crossing it is another sword card. Now, remember that these cards all came from the wands pile, the fire pile, with me focusing on getting some clarity on her life purpose, her life journey, and indeed this journey. This Six of Swords, to me, feels also really appropriate here. The burning, I talked about this in another video or a class, I can't remember, but I was drawn to Gone with the Wind. Yeah, really old movie. But the burning of Atlantis. And the thing I like about this card is that the fire is behind her. And while she must be aware of that intense heat, perhaps she has burned bridges here, or burn bridges here. So yet she is going forward to peace. Sixes for me, in every way, guide us to harmony. They guide us to harmony. And already in these two cards, I feel like, yes, this is absolutely going on this journey, leaving again now, this time, wherever you have gone, is exactly where you need to be. And keep your chin up and allow yourself to be guided, and know that six is with you. Six, peace, the heart. You are traveling to the heart. You are traveling into the heart. Swords, suit of air. This is the element of the heart chakra. When we look through the Golden Dawn metaphor of the fire and the water, of the kings and the queens come together, and the knights is the element of air, and the knights live in the sixth Sephira, Tiferet, at the center of the tree of life. And in the chakra metaphor, the element of air is the union of the upward and downward facing triangles. And it's the element of air. It's heart. It's where we find love. It's where we find compassion. It's where we find meaning, purpose, and love, and above all, love. So these are, in every way, I want you, if you are listening, to know that this journey is it's hugely powerful for you. And there's no major arcana here. This feels also like it's stepping into, it'll be completely doable, attainable, no major obstacles to come over. And that heat that is behind you, the fire that is behind you, it will, think about forest fires. Think about the nutrition that is added and the regrowth that happens. So yes, you may have burned some bridges, but perhaps that is in the highest of those that you left behind. Okay, so feel good about this. Deepening your understanding of what lies underneath all of this. Karmically, through your past lives, through your DNA, and I don't see that those are two very separate things, through experiences in this lifetime as well. This card kind of answers all of that. And it also has, it's another 6. This is the 6 of Pentacles. Probably my favorite card in this deck. Six. So we have 2 6s. In and if you think of the power of 6 in general, and the 3 plus 3, and the understanding of reciprocity, and 3 as Empress, you are building your life through your deep and powerful connection with how important reciprocity is to you in every way, environmentally, with human beings, the pain that you carry and you feel through many things that you have been through. But there's something here in this 6 of Pentacles that is utterly content. Utterly content in wherever you find yourself in this moment. When I think about the 6 of Swords and the level of unknown, you start here in this place of discomfort in the unknowing, and maybe as well too, your healing hands, you wish that you could heal this chasm, this rift. You may be carrying healer energy, but you're certainly carrying a lot of love and peace. Yeah, it's exactly what I see in that card. So your mission, your purpose is one of peace and gentleness and reciprocity and love and sharing. And so I want to remind you to be as open to receiving as you are at ease with giving. Okay? The Emperor is in his own position. The Emperor, because you feel, Arya asks, why are my eyes welling up? Your eyes are welling up because this reading is connecting so deeply to the soul of this person. And I imagine if she is watching on her phone somewhere in the world, she too would have tears in her eyes. The Emperor is in his own position. What does that mean? That feels like a really powerful table leg. The Emperor here, there's something about this card that is really haunting to me. The Emperor is emerging through the Earth herself. We cannot separate the Earth Mother from the Earth Father, and that is what I see in this card. And if you read this past, present, future, that it kind of reinforces the idea of her strength and her unrelenting inner knowing that she doesn't belong in a traditional family or community, that there is greater meaning. There is a greater meaning for her in this lifetime. This is the first major that is showing up in the reading, and it's in the Emperor position, the fourth position. If you think about zodiacal correspondences, this also feels really good in that it's a great sort of emphasis to you go, girl. You are stronger than you know you are. You are stronger than you think you are. You are stronger than you feel you are. You come from the earth. You come from the rocks, and you are emerging. And you have been emerging for some time, perhaps just not recognizing all that you have and all that you are. King of Wands is overhead. And the King of Wands is has a connection to, we can read this whole line. We can look at as above, so below. The more you give, the more you receive, the stronger you become. King of Wands is like a powerful sun god or goddess overhead, overseeing your whole journey. You are protected. I think it emphatically emphasizes your strength, your stamina, your ability to make good decisions. I think as a wand card, it is one that says keep on going and blazing your path. You will find your way. Splendor and terror. Hello, Saskia. Namaste. So it's almost like I can feel the sparks of that King of Wands just kind of falling down over the whole reading. And maybe they are fairy dust. Maybe they are sparks. Maybe they are yods or just nourishing energy. Maybe they are the sparks that are falling also in your wake, in those burning bridges from the beginning of the reading. Awakening. And so rest assured, sweet one. This is the double 10 card. This is the card of openings. And I think more than anything, what is opening here is permission to live your life authentically, regardless of how those who are in those flames feel, share, say. Now, we all know awakenings can be as scary and raw. I think raw is a good word. We often find that when we muster up all this courage and all this strength and we declare our own unique and different path, that we stop and question because we feel vulnerable, we feel alone. And so it is important at this time to take time to be filling your cup, to nourishing your body. Make sure you're eating well, resting well. Big changes are afoot here. Big changes. So if we look at this first part as a wheel for you, this is you're moving into a heart space. It's like you're cracking open your heart. Understanding the fire that resides within your passion for love and equanimity and reciprocity and peacefulness, and your discontent with the state of affairs in this mundane world in which we live. You have a great purpose. And so, as Dee says in the chat, let's climb that mountain. Let's climb that staff. So it's almost as if the cards on the left are confirming and defining and supporting. And so I imagine that this path over on the right, it may reveal some obstacles, some fears. It might show us what you need to go through. It might provide clarity. But let's look at the Chariot. The Chariot is Temperance. So another very powerful, fiery card. This is Sagittarius. This is quite interesting. So we have Aries as the Emperor if we're looking at astrology, and we have Sagittarius. King of Wands, depending on how you read the tarot, you may associate with Leo. So I know she has a lot of Pisces in her chart. And all this fire may be intensely, what would be the word? Like unnerving. You are happier, you are more comfortable in the mystic. So this fire is, it's really kicking you in the butt. Like it's asking a lot of you. And so what I said about your healing, your balance, your sleeping, your eating, your nourishing, making sure that you're receiving as much as you're giving, all of that is really important here. Temperance is about the alchemical change. You have two really important sequential cards here of awakening, and you might even actually be experiencing physical changes in your body. And I remember when somebody said that to me once, about your face changing. And then perhaps this is your first strategy method. So wherever you are, you want to learn about the alchemy of, maybe it's teas or cacao or ayahuasca or other plant medicines. Like you want to learn about the mixing and the weaving and the drumming and the blending and the all of those things that help to facilitate change, like cellular change. You're changing your DNA, my friend. Okay. All right. So we have Temperance, and then we have Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords has a finger up. Hi, Perry. Knight of Swords has a finger up. Is that a wait? Is that a listen? So we're in the 8th position. We can look at this card here. I think there's something to that finger. Knights are questers. So remember I was talking about the heart business of this, the heart part of this reading? Knights also live with the tree of life in the Tiferet, the sun. right? Sun, Tiferet, center of tree of life, knights. So they are all on a spiritual quest of sorts, but why is the knight going like this? Be careful. Do you remember what I said? Oh my goodness, this was in one of our Marseille chats about the Knight of Swords racing back to love, racing back to the heart. This was one of the things that came up in when we were looking at the honors of the Tarot de Marseille, and I forget where this came from. It may have been Jodorowsky, but I'm not sure. And it has to do with the direction that the Knight of Swords was facing. Now, this particular knight is facing in the non-standard, I would say, direction of the Knight of Swords. Also not on a horse, definitely holding a wand. The energy that's coming out of his sword or wand is kind of, it's not feeling really powerful. So here's where I want to add something also kind of traditional from a Celtic cross. This position is often seen as community, the environment that you are in. And I feel like there's a bit of a cautionary tale to this card. You want to be, remember you started with 2 swords. You're being really clear about mind, thought, word, the synchronicity of word, the fact that your words are matching your heart, not being too rash, too impulsive. There's something funny about this Knight of Swords here, and maybe I can find more in that after. It is the 8th card. It is the 8th card, which could be yours. In this tarot deck, I'm pretty sure 8 is strength. So is your strength in sticking to your mission? Is your strength in... And I know you, I don't know. I feel that you don't show your intelligence, mind, voice. You tend to keep quiet. And this may be something that you are building within. You have this King of Fire over all of this, and you have this fire over and behind. You have a lot of power and a lot of strength within this reading. So don't ever doubt the significance of this journey that you are on. Page of Wands is dancing with a tambourine. It's really funny. I should tell you what it just came to mind here. And 2 of Cups is up at the top. Mm, 2 of Cups. All right. So we started with a 2 and we end with a 2. We started with the 2 of Swords, and the 10th card is the 2 of Hearts, the 2 of Cups. More than anything, this journey is about getting to know you, getting to know who you are, falling in love with yourself, with your life purpose. And knowing that in order to find that and do that, I would say yes, you had to leave. Because your strength perhaps wasn't shining here. For some reason. And I wish I could see you shining there. And know that this yearning within you is right. That it is indeed elsewhere that you will get to know that inner strength. And perhaps one day you can return and share that here. But you're in this process, this awakening and opening and harmonizing and balancing process. My goodness, you have awakening XX. You have 2 6s. You have a balancing card of temperance, right? And 2 2s as well. So this is all about you finding yourself and harmonizing yourself and owning that harmony and knowing that you are not broken. You are complete. You are lovable. You are strong. I want to go back to this Page of Wands. And this is another sort of funny position in the Celtic cross. This is the 9. So we can talk about hermit energy. We can talk about the magic of the triple trinity. There's a lot of things that can come up in this 9th penultimate position here. This Page of Wands, again, we have lots of fire. She has a skirt on, she's dancing, there's a tambourine or something. What came through in that moment was a fear that I'm just sort of wandering purposelessly all over the world and I don't know what I'm doing. And it's almost like I could hear your voice and your self-doubt. Traditionally, this card is in the position of fears and dreams. And what if your fear and your dream are the same thing? That if you were to embrace this love child that you are, didn't I say my significator for her would be a page? If you were to embrace this love child that you are, this peacemaking, harmonizing, and simultaneously really strong person that you are, if you were to fully embrace that and let that shine everywhere, to never again hang your head and doubt your fire, that you could overcome that and let this Page of Wands energy shine in every way through everything. And if you are able to embrace this Page of Wands energy, you will have more courage in taking the temperance energy a little bit further. And I know you have played with temperance throughout your life, but it feels like now this is it's like the foundation of your path. So maybe you are on a path indeed to become a powerful healer. If nothing else, it's you. It's about healing you. The reading started with a 2, it ends with a 2. It's about understanding you and who you are and what you make up. And of course, with the 2 of Cups at the end, everybody thinks, wow, I'm going to meet the love of my life. And maybe you will meet the love of your life, but you will meet the love of your life the more that you are embracing the powerful being that you are. Owning who you are. So the more confidence that you radiate, the more of this fire that you radiate, the more you will know your purpose and the more you will understand that you are exactly where you are, and all of that energy will be reflected back to you. Mm. All right, so stepping away from the reading itself, another thing that I feel to remember here is that I have kind of summarized the reading, talking about 2 and 2, 1 and 10. But there's another thing here about 2 as a opening, as an awakening. The 10th card turns the wheel. If this is a mini wheel, there's something about the 2 of Cups that is contained within all of this. The Two of Cups is also the first card of Cancer season, upcoming summer. I think she's still in North America. North of the equator. So there's a seasonal match of energy here. There's a stepping into a new season. It feels like she will find this sooner than later. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, my friends, if you resonate with the way that I teach and I intuit and I build layers and all of that, I am going to be doing 5 classes on different tarot spreads throughout the summer. And this, I'll call it a master tarot class, will be offered over 2 days. So what's going to happen is we are going to, I'm going to teach on YouTube. It's unlisted, it'll be private. So there will be a lesson on the spread. And that'll be on Friday mornings at 12. And then 2 days later, on the Sunday, I'm going to offer a Zoom chat where you can come in and ask questions. If there's just a couple of people there, I can put you into a room and you can do a reading for each other. So the course includes 5 YouTube videos and 5 Zoom chats. And I will not be sharing the Zoom chats, but the replay, of course, of the 5 lessons will be available. So if you're interested, you can sign up, and everything is below in the description box. Yeah. So what else is happening is Tarot Through the Chakras. I'm recording the final class next Saturday, and that has turned out to be quite an undertaking. So if you're interested in chakra tarot alignment, that is something that you might want to pick up on. And if you want to go back to the beginning, I have a 22-week course called Tarot Foundations 1. And that is something I monitor I monitor the comments really closely in that course. So if you're going through and you're not watching the lives because it's all pre-recorded, know that I do and I will respond to you and support you through that. Yeah. I have a Tarot Foundations 2 as well too, and I love doing this. I love helping others to get more confident in their tarot readings because it is such a powerful healing tool. And if you find your way, it's like magic. It's like magic when it all clicks together. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed walking through the Celtic Cross with me, at least my version of it. And I will be back on what's happening. So Wednesday is privates. I'm sorry, Wednesday we are doing the Wednesday I'm doing a deep dive right now in the Tarot Avatara, which is the Frida Kahlo Tarot, but I'll be alive on Saturday. So we're going to talk about the Magician card on Saturday, looking at different Tarot de Marseille magicians. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye for now. Have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste. Namaste.